Alright, what's up, everybody? Back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Yes, we're back. Hope you guys are having a good one. Yeah, for today episode, I want to talk about Anthony Davis. And everything about Anthony Davis so far this year, his time with the Lakers, and all this stuff, because I feel like he needs more credit. People have been disrespecting him for the longest time, for the last few years, and I think now we gotta put the disrespect aside. We have to credit Anthony Davis, and I'm gonna tell you why I think so. Alright, but before we get into that, just want to say thanks for the views on the vids recently. Really appreciate it. And if you like the content around here, consider subscribing. Like, notifications, do all the stuff like that. I really appreciate it. It really helps out a lot. And yeah, let's not waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. So to start this about AD, let's rewind. Let's go back a little bit. Back to 2020. Or 2019, really. 2019. When the Lakers pull off the Anthony Davis trade. I think it was on the 4th of July, or really around the 4th of July, I remember. And this was what the Lakers fans wanted forever. The year before, LeBron, first year in LA it was bad. He just had a bad roster around him, injuries and stuff. Didn't even make the playoffs. The first time LeBron didn't make the playoffs since his early years in Cleveland. So they bring in AD, who wanted a trade from the Pelicans. He was done with it. He had to do everything for New Orleans. He was done. He wanted to go to LA. And so they pull off the trade. The Lakers send away Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, Josh Hart, picks. We all know that. And so AD comes to LA. And the original goal is for kind of a passing of the torch. LeBron was getting up there in age. Injuries started to affect him. And AD was supposed to come in and help LeBron win a ring as well. But then as LeBron gets older, gets into his upper age, where it's about that time, he could pass the torch on to AD, and AD can be like the next one. LeBron's like, here, AD, now you lead them to a championship now, after I go. That was the plan. And the first year in LA was great. He played 62 games that year. He was amazing. The Lakers were really good that year as well. They won 52 games. Best team in the Western Conference. The bubble happened as well. AD played really good. They had a really good team, and they ultimately end up winning a championship that year in the bubble. Of course, in the bubble. We love talking about it, the Mickey Mouse ring, but it's still a ring. And AD in the playoffs was amazing. AD averaged 27 and 9 in the playoffs, 3.5 assists, a steal, a block. He shot 57% from the field, 38% from 3, 83% from the free throw line. Conference finals, he averaged like 30 something a game. Amazing, right? So then the bubble ends. We come back to the next season, 2021. Shortened year, 72 games. And also the season starts on Christmas. And the Lakers win in October. So they have basically 2 months to prepare for a season. And the Lakers do not look as good. They still make the playoffs as a 7th seed, but lose in the first round. AD only plays in 36 of the 72 games that season. And he looked banged up, beat up. And it just was not a good year. Probably his worst year. He had his lowest scoring numbers since his second year in the league with New Orleans. His worst rebounding numbers ever. His lowest field goal percentage ever. It was a very bad, banged up season. His worst free throw percentage at that point until the next year. But yeah, so AD, a lot of people criticized AD that year. He was just banged up all season. Street clothes became his new thing. Well, Charles Barkley made street clothes near the end of the year, so it didn't really catch on to the year after. But yeah, AD wasn't good that year. Injuries, you can give it to injury. You could give it to the quick turnaround. He only had 2 months to prepare for an NBA season. And they kind of just ragdolled their way through the season, made the playoffs, and he gets hurt in the playoffs and all this stuff. All right, but after that they get an early rest. All right, we go into the next season. We're gonna be good. But AD really just didn't look good last year. 2022, he only played in 40 of 82 games. He averaged 23 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, which are so good. But for AD, it's not. His 3-point shot just disappeared. And the Lakers just had a horrible year last year. The Lakers were very horrible. They didn't make the playoffs, didn't even make the play-in. AD didn't have a good year as well. His season high was 35. He had a few games where he scored 30. He had a few games where he scored single digits as well, which is unacceptable for him. And AD just looked beat up all season. AD looked beat up all season. Didn't have the same fire that he used to have in New Orleans and during the Lakers championship run. He just looked kind of like old and looked very like worn out. In the last 2 seasons of Anthony Davis, he played in 76 of the 154 games that he could have played. 49%. He didn't even play half the games. They went 40-36 with that record. When he does play, they're good. But AD just looked bad. And this year, the beginning of this year, we thought it was going to be the same thing. We thought this is just who Anthony Davis is now. First, 2-ish weeks of the year, he was cool. He wasn't amazing, but he was okay. But then, once mid-November hit, and AD went on a run and looked like championship AD again. He had a 9-game stretch from November 13th to December 4th, where he averaged 35 points, 15 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, 3 blocks, shot 64% from the field. Those are insane. Those are Giannis numbers. Not even Giannis numbers. Well, kind of Giannis numbers. Those are absolutely insane numbers. 35 and 15 and 3 blocks on 64% shooting is insane. I mean, look at the games he had. He had 37 and 18, 38, 16 and 4 blocks, 30 and 18, 37, 21, 5 steals, 5 blocks, 25, 15, 3 blocks, 27 and 12. He had 44 and 10 against Milwaukee on national TV, and that streak was capped off with a 55 point, 17 rebound, 3 block performance on Washington. The Lakers were very good in that stretch too. Those 9 games, they went 7-2 after starting the year off very bad. They started the year 2-11? I think they started that year. Yeah, 2-11, and then to go 7-2 in that stretch when AD played. He missed 1 game in between there as well, and they won that game. So 8-3, if you want to say, or 8-2. 8-2. What am I talking about? 8-2. But yeah, he looked really good. And then he played against the game on Cleveland National TV. He only played 8 minutes because he was sick, missed the next game. Came back for 4 games, was solid. But then the injury train struck again. The injury bug struck again, and he missed 20 straight games from near mid-December to the end of January. He missed 20 straight games, and the Lakers did not look that good in that point. And then he came back, and there was a little bit of struggle still there. He did have some 30 pieces. He was getting a lot of rebounds, but he did struggle a little bit. It took him a little while to get back. And then the Lakers made the piece at the trade deadline. They start to win games. It's looking like, Lakers are making a comeback. And then the Dallas game happens, and LeBron gets injured. They still win that game, and a great comeback. AD had a great game in that game, 30 and 15 with 3 blocks. And that happens. And now everyone looks at AD. After LeBron gets hurt, he's going to be out. The Lakers need to win games to make the playoff push. It's AD now. AD has to be the guy. He really does. He has to be the guy now. He has to be number 1. Everyone looked at AD saying, you got to be number 1. He needs this credit because he's delivering. He's delivering as a number 1. And this season, throughout this entire season, he's showing that who Anthony Davis is. And we got to stop disrespecting him as, street clothes. Because he has missed 20-ish games this season. He has. He does get injured a lot. That's a thing. He's just going to have that. Every time he misses 1 game, it's like, oh, here we go again. He's not reliable. He sucks. And people are just forgetting. I feel like they're putting just basketball aside for Anthony Davis. And they're just looking at games played and stuff. And being like, oh, well, we can't rely on him. We can't rely on him. He's not durable enough. He's this, he's that, he's street clothes, he's that, he's this. Laker fans kind of turned on him a little bit last year. The regular fans that aren't Laker fans kind of was just like, who cares about AD anymore? But this season, he has come back. He has come back this year, and he has been remarkable, one of the better players in the league. He could have been an all-star. If he didn't miss that 20-game stretch, he was an all-star lock, for sure. Probably all-star starter. Even if he only misses half of those games, he's probably an all-star starter lock. He's really come back, and he's really shown, who he is. He's Anthony Davis. His jumper has not been the same, obviously. His jumper doesn't have that nice 3-point shot anymore. But that dude is huge. He's 6'10", 250. That dude is huge. He's going to body you up, and he's got so many skills that he's going to body you up. He can hit the post fadeaway. He can bully you down low and get easy dunks, layups, floaters. pick and roll. He can pop once in a while, but he can also roll, and he's super athletic. He can go get any lob. He can get the rebound and take it himself, get to the court and get a bucket. We all know how skilled Anthony Davis is. We all have seen it, how skilled Anthony Davis is. And so all these injuries I feel like many people forget who Anthony Davis really is. Anthony Davis is one of the best players in the league, and he's been on a revenge tour, basically, this season. I feel like he's been on a revenge tour of like, oh, really? You guys want to turn on me? Look at this. And it was capped off by last night's game against the Grizzlies, where he was just dominant. Pure dominant. 30 points, 22 rebounds. In a huge win that they need. They're now in the play-in. They won 3 of their last 4. They look like they're going to make a run. They look like they're going to be, in the play-in, locked in the play-in, because Anthony Davis is playing so well. The last 5 games for AD, some with LeBron, some without LeBron, or 1 game with LeBron. The last 5 games, he's averaging 33 points, 13 rebounds, 3 assists, almost 3 blocks, shooting 56% from the field. Those are amazing numbers. And I feel like, we got to give AD his credit, man. We got to give AD his credit for kind of showing back up. Look at his numbers. This is one of the best seasons he's having. He's scoring the most points of his career since 2018 with New Orleans. He's got averaging the most rebounds of his career. His best field goal shooting season ever. He's averaging 26.5 points, 12.5 rebounds, 2.5 assists, a steal, 2 blocks, 56% shooting. He's been incredible. And he's leading the Lakers to a play-in spot and a playoff push that they really need. Because it's been very disappointing with AD in LA and LeBron in LA. It's just been very disappointing. In the last 2 seasons, I can see why people kind of forgot about him or kind of were turned away from him because of the injuries. I understand that. And he's going to be injured. I think we have to kind of accept the fact that he's going to miss games. He's never probably going to play a full 80 or even 75 games probably ever again in his career. I think we just have to take that, But if he can just play about like 60 to 65-ish games for Anthony Davis, at this point is amazing. He hasn't played 60 games. His first year in LA, he played 62 games. The most games he's ever played in a season is 75. In New Orleans, he played 75 games back-to-back years. So he's never been a full 78, 79 type season. He's always has some injury problems. Even in New Orleans, he did. It wasn't as much as he done in LA, but he still has some problems with injury in New Orleans. I mean, I can see why people were turned off by him. But this year has just been so phenomenal for him. So remarkable. And he's leading the Lakers right now. And if he keeps up this pace and the Lakers make the play-in without LeBron, AD potentially could make an All-NBA team. I don't know how many games. So far, he's played in 41 of 66 games. So they have 14 games left. So if he plays all 14 games, he'll appear in 55. So I don't think he'll make the cut to make All-NBA. I don't think he'll play enough games to make All-NBA. Can't get any awards or something. But he can get the respect back. He can get his respect back. He can get his credit back. He can get the media talking in a positive way about him. Because I feel like every time the media talks about Anthony Davis, it's in a negative way. And we got to stop it. We have to stop it. After the season, we have to stop it. He's shown us that he's AD again. He's that dominant force. He's that number 1 pick. He's that 2-way monster. One of the better players in the league. He's shown it. This is who he is again. And we have to look at it. We have to credit him for this huge bounce back he's had. The last 2 years combined have been horrible. He's playing better. He's probably playing the best he's ever played in LA, honestly. Like, he's had some moments where he looked his best since he's got to LA. His first year in LA, that was amazing. But right now, he's putting up better numbers than that season in LA. He's averaging about the same amount of points. He's averaging 3 more rebounds. The assists are a little down. The steals and blocks are about the same. The shooting percentage is up in the field, at least. He's not hitting threes that much anymore. But honestly, you can make an argument that he's playing better than that 2020 season when they won a championship. Like, he's really locked in right now, and he's really been amazing. And so I just want to make a video to credit Anthony Davis and to tell people that we need to credit Anthony Davis more. We have to stop talking about him in this negative light that everyone does. That's all I got for today. I don't know. This video kind of turned into a rant for some reason. I don't know. But yeah, I just wanted to make a quick video about Anthony Davis, man. Because I feel like we need to appreciate him a lot more. So yeah, thank you guys for watching this. Again, if you like the content, subscribe, like, notifications, do all that stuff. I really appreciate it. I'm also on Twitter at EverydayHoops10. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.